Hello and welcome to a Pokémon Masters review of the Pokémon Sword and Shield Isle of Armor DLC. With spoilers of course. Let's get started. If you already beat the game and want to be an absolute piece of garbage, you can plow right through the entire DLC in about 30 minutes. The best way to play the game if you have already beaten the main story is to catch an entirely new team and play that way. That may sound like common sense, but I know a bunch of you chuckleheads didn't think that the first time. But you also got to remember that this is Pokémon Sword and Shield and you can beat everything with your eyes closed and 4 pairs of your fingers inside a Chinese finger trap. You also have to remember that this is B-Team Game Freak and they still don't want to add a hard mode. The amount of Pokémon they added was mediocre at best. Those absolute morons should have never cut a single Pokémon when making these games, and now they are making you spend $30 to catch a Poliwag. Every cut Pokémon should eventually find its way into Sword and Shield through both DLC packs, but we know that isn't happening. It's also very confusing that they only added 2 new Galarian forms and 2 new Pokémon. That's it? While I like the designs, there definitely should have been more. But what about the Gigantamax forms for the starters? I absolutely love them, especially Cinderace and Inteleon. Also, problems that arose from not adding enough Pokémon were obvious. For example, you may come across Chewtle a couple of times even though he was seemingly everywhere in the mainland. Why couldn't they put a Pokémon like Boozle there instead of adding Chewtle again? Seeing Pokémon you have already caught in the base game was very repetitive. With normal video games, big updates or expansions mean a long list of balance changes. With Pokémon that of course isn't the case. Shocking, isn't it? Of course certain Pokémon like Dragapult will remain top tier and that's how it will be for generations. It makes sense to think that the addition of new Pokémon will throw a curveball into the meta, but that won't be the case. The Pokémon added may receive a move or two here and there or occasionally an ability, but that's about it. Pokémon like Luxray will still be left in the dark with their terrible stat pools. One thing I thought was very important that many overlook is the fact that you can now use Pokémon that weren't born in the Galar region competitively. To be able to rise to the top of the ranks with a Pokémon you had for many generations is something I thought was pretty cool. Being able to use Pokémon like Alolan and Raichu, one of my favorites, was something I thought was great even if it applied to just me and was something you couldn't do before. They still haven't fixed the absolute dumpster fire that is the menu, but that sounds like a complaint for another day. Since this is just DLC, the already atrocious graphics won't change. Heck, they didn't even fix the disastrous frame rate problems. Surprise surprise, they added reused animations and models again. Having the ability to have your Pokémon follow you is something everyone loves, but in this game they screwed it up so badly that we don't want it. They move far too slow and can never keep up with you. Saying they follow you is a long shot because most of the time you forget they are there. What's more is that you can barely interact with them and the feature is limited to the Isle of Armor. But what is the stupidest part of this all? You can walk with your shiny Pokémon in the overworld, but you can't find overworld shiny Pokémon like you could in Let's Go when shiny hunting. Surprisingly, I don't have many negatives to say about the Isle itself. Like many others, I think Pokémon going forward should go with the wild area approach and expand upon it. The Isle has what the original wild area didn't have: geography. There were many spots where you could choose from a few directions, something the original wild area didn't have. The Diglett minigame was a cool little addition. Nothing revolutionary here. Again, this was made by Game Freak. Clara may be a potential waifu to some and I thought she was a very cool character. Mustard was the typical boomer character who is capable of kicking your ass in 17 different ways and his battle was quite hard. Again, if you want to be that scumbag you can beat everything and everyone with a level 100 team in the same amount of time it takes you. Smash the dislike on a Smash Bros Fighter announcement video because they added a character you didn't like, which makes you a piece of shit. Training Kubfu was not a fun experience if everything in the wild area is level 60, so you have to do some cheating with the EXP share, or you can use EXP candies if your parents don't love you. Once you got to the towers it was kind of anticlimactic and the battles weren't really that hard. Urshifu is a pretty broken Pokemon, and if you want to be an absolute piece of garbage you can take him online and beat the living crap out of everything. The music was very good and I thought Mustard's second theme was the best. If this DLC was a part of the base game as a post-game, then people probably wouldn't have complained much about it. But of course in Game Freak Society it's not, and you have to pay $15. It wasn't difficult at all and didn't really bring anything new to the table. There should have been more Pokemon and a few more things to do. However, I like the island, the characters, and the music. Hopefully the second half of the DLC is much better than this one. Adding every single Pokemon back into the game with that DLC is like me getting a girlfriend. It's not happening. If you hated the base game then you will probably hate the Isle of Armor as well. If I were to give it a number review I think it would be a 3 out of 5, and that's being generous. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you chuckleheads in the next video.